Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, slow, and welcome to some back roads. It's coffee time, and it's the middle of November, and my bike is telling me it's 18 degrees. That ain't right. that, that ain't correct. I mean, the temperature on my bike probably isn't correct by a couple of degrees, but even still, it's the middle of November, and it's like not single digits. So if you happen to be going home to your mammy for Christmas and your racist uncle comes over and looks out the window and says, "What global warming?" It's this global warming. Bam! Give your uncle a dig from me. You've earned it. It is, however, quite windy. We're not into windy AF just yet, but it's quite windy. Where because I'm on this bike and I go across a motorway, the wind just goes, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm the wind." Aside from that, it's pretty nice. I'm going to go out to a place suggested by a commenter, the one commenter that made a suggestion. It's James. Was it James? Yeah, maybe. It's not that I particularly want to make you happy, James. It's more that like you were the gold medal in a field of one. So off we pop out to Balbriggan. Believe me, this is the scenic route. My mental directions to Balbriggan are go to Blake's Cross and keep going. So here we are. I'm going to keep going, see what happens. So Lucky Luke was on the last video talking about Norway and the trip and all that. I'm going to do a couple of videos on that, I think. I'm going to do a like how to actually get it done video and then some footage from it. I'm not going to try and do what I did previously, which is like here's a day by day, blow by blow account. Mainly because I didn't record every day. And, there's only so much of it you can put across without being like, sit down and glue your eyeballs to 2 weeks of footage. There's certain bits of it that are just like, yep, that's a must. But no, I'll leave that for some other time. Mainly since I was last sort of regularly uploading, there's been a couple of trips outside of Ireland. Mainly either just very long weekends, like 4 or 5 days, with 3 or 4 lads, because 3 or 4 lads is the optimal number of lads. We went up to Scotland, was last year? Yeah, last year sometime we went to Scotland and did a bit around the national park there and the Isle of Skye. We went down the Isle of Skye, got absolutely fucking chucked on, but it was still good crack. We all had reasonable gear, so we weren't soaked. It was decent, and we Airbnb'd it and, found a decent Airbnb and did the whole thing. And that was good because with each of these trips, there's a couple of the lads that, haven't done longer sort of tours. I mean, you've done the way or whatever it is, hey, and but going abroad and dealing with all that, it's a sort of an easy mode version of that. Like, you get the ferry from Belfast to Stranraer and just go up and get a few Airbnbs. It's pretty low hassle. You don't really need to plan it even. You just need to have some days. Same goes for, we did a trip to Wales where we went across to Wales and just kind of, I don't know that we even planned to hit any particular spots in Wales. We were just like, let's fucking figure it out as we go along. So took 3 or 4 days of that. Same deal. So the Gorilla Biker came along on, I forget who went on which ones. I think the Gorilla Biker came on both of them. 2 Up to Down Insta, Aiden came on some of them. He later came to us with myself and Graham to Norway. So you'll see some of him on his Africa Twin later on. Not later on this video, but later on. And it's good to sort of, get into the practice of overnighting on the bike and packing for a couple of days and, getting used to, and also, seeing if the people that you're going off touring with are saps after a couple of days. Because I know plenty of people who I can have perfectly fine conversations with and can deal with nicely and are fine in small doses, but like I wouldn't want to spend several days dealing with their nonsense. So that's it's good to know that there are lads out there whose nonsense you can deal with, and then they all fucking move to Australia and to the US. So, to find another group of lads. Silver medal lads for going on tours with. And I guess if I could give some general purpose kind of tips for lads going on like either tours to the UK or even like a longer trip or anything like that, is that a lot of the sort of preparation that we do is just for kind of comfort as opposed to getting the trip done. Like if you want to get the trip done, if I wanted to go to, Scotland or Wales, whatever, like I could just get a notion into my head and go on this bike, with nothing on me but a credit card and I'd be grand, right? People tend to, you watch Long Way Around or Long Way Down and you sort of say, well, I need to pack the bike up with fucking the kitchen sink and etc. like that. And I need to plan ahead and get this and get that and book all of my stuff and really be regimented about my plan and all this sort of stuff. And that's kind of bollocks. You don't really need to do that. For short trips, certainly, like if there's things you want to hit, then go hit them, like, because you've only got so much time on a trip. But any of the longer 2-week trips we've taken have been like, yeah, let's figure out a rough direction or loop we want to do. That's like some amount of thousands of kilometers. And then when we decide that that's a stupid idea, we'll do something else, right? And so I'm not going to go into too many details with the Norway trip because we'll go ahead with that. But like, we didn't know what we were doing 2 weeks before we went on that trip, And then I did up a bit of a kind of a schedule of like, okay, here's the first 3 or 4 days. We'll head sort of this direction, and here's the thing, and added a few little bits that would keep the other lads interested, like like Graham, here's the biggest ice cream in Norway. Oh well, we're going south though, that kind of stuff, and it worked out reasonably well. And unless you're going to like literally the arse end of nowhere, unless you're doing the Road of Bones or you're going off to sub-Saharan Africa, or you're doing like, you can find a place to stay, you can find all of that stuff. There's petrol, there's like, you don't need a ton of stuff unless you're going to be camping all of the time because you decide you want to camp all the time. But we brought camping gear to Norway and we didn't need to camp. Like there was a couple of nights where we were thinking about it and we were like, nah. We were just like, okay, because there's cheap accommodation, there's Airbnbs, there's everything, and this was in the middle of July. So I think that having a bit of common sense about over planning is the one bit of advice that we give to folks doing trips in civilization. And if you're, obviously, if you're a seasoned tourer, all this, but like if you're thinking of going on your first big tour, or if you're thinking of going somewhere, or even for like a long weekend or anything like that, just don't overplan. Like we've never been in a situation where we looked on either hotels.com or Airbnb or somewhere like that and there's nowhere, right? You find yourself compromising on like, okay, maybe some people are sharing a room, or you find yourself compromising on like, oh shit, that's expensive. But if you again, you're on your holidays, so things are going to be a bit expensive. Oh, here's Balbriggan. And as well, like, it's like, oh, you're paying like a couple of quid more per night, or a couple of quid more tonight than you expected to. Stack that up against like you're trying to carry half of your worldly possessions on the back of a bike. I mean, you don't need to carry half your worldly possessions. In this case, like I have a big touring bike. Graham has the Super Venture, big touring bike. Aidan had the African Twin, big touring bike. And we brought camping gear and didn't use it, and it wasn't a hassle to us. Like we weren't going, oh shit, wish we hadn't brought the camping gear. It was just like, okay, we've a fucking small car boot's worth of space each. We'll bring it just in case, and it wasn't a big deal. But you could definitely, and you can go on YouTube and there's lads saying like, here's everything, like here's Ziploc bag number 7 and here's what I keep in Ziploc bag number 7, and it's all a bit something like, first of all, either those lads are going to sub-Saharan Africa where you have to sort of figure all this stuff out, or they're just overdoing it. So anywhere mainland Europe, anywhere UK and Ireland, you don't need to really plan your trip all that much, aside from, oh yeah, let's make sure we make it to point X. Right, so I'm trying to find the train station. See where we go from here. Is that a train? No. Trains. Choo-choo. I'll just try to call it a train. I remember looking on Google Maps and seeing the name of some sort of lane or a road or something that goes down to the train. You'd think there'd be a big fucking train sign. I bet you there is one and I'm just a tick. Or should I give up and have a look? No, let's look at Balbriggan. I think I'm in a situation where I can't see the train for the Balbriggan, or I can't see the Balbriggan for the train. Mrs. O's, good man. Okay, I think I've driven through Balbriggan once or twice, but I wouldn't class it as one of my regular routes. You know, if you ask me anything about it, I'd be like, yep, that's a place. Looks like it is. It's got all the things you want. There was a halal, there was a Moldova shop and all that sort of stuff, so cool. Seems like it's pretty diverse. And then there's the all-day breakfast, just you know, so you remember where you are. Cool. Okay, so my usual way of finding things didn't work, which is right through the centre of the town going, where's the train? And I didn't see the train, so I'm gonna pull in somewhere. I should have pulled in there. Alright. Turns out I went right past it. Look for a street called Railway Street that is right by a Sherry Fitzgerald, right after a pub whose name I forget, but will probably remember when I see it. This is my system of directions, you can deal with it. Let me give it a... Oh, what are you doing? Oh, that's not how things happen. That's right. You give up. Okay. Here is... I am not sitting here while you think about your feelings. That isn't the thing. Okay, here we go. Here we are. Cabana. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out. Alright. Good job, Cabana. Any place that can hand you a big slab of banana bread, which is my thing to have with coffee of choice, I'm afraid. Banana bread with moist, cannot complain. Especially since it means that I can say moist on the video. Let's go this way. Yeah, decent outside the city place. Not a ton of parking, but what can you do? Banana moist bread. I do like a bit of the moist bread. So, top marks, James. Gold medal. Cannot complain. Well, my bike is complaining that my keys battery is low, which seems like a weird thing to say for such a new bike, but we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, that's my coffee for today on this freakishly warm November afternoon. I would say long may it last, but I don't like it. I do not enjoy that this is occurring. I'm also not convinced I'm going the right way. It was like, this is the way to Dublin. I'm like, it doesn't look like, oh, it opens up here, but I'm going through the residences of Balbriggan. Now, tell me where to go, signs. Come on, signs. Alright, everyone's going right, so I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left, because I can. Now we start getting into the... You came to the wrong housing estate, buddy. Let's go back the way we came. Let's head towards... Not a big pile of houses. So as I was saying, you shouldn't plan out your route. Everything will work out wonderfully. Is this Stevenstown? Where the fuck am I? Where the fuck am I? Have people in Balbriggan not heard of signs? Like, tell me where I'm fucking going to get the fuck out of here. Fingal Bay Business Park. Oh, fuck's sake. Balbriggan Business Park. Right, Balbriggan is trying to eat me now. It's trying to swallow me and my bike, not let us go. Oh, Steve. Dublin! Yes! And town centre. Okay, I haven't escaped Balbriggan just yet. Drogheda. Oh, I have made terrible mistakes. Right, Dublin to the right. And we're back. Oh no, Slaughterwall, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Balbriggan, for letting me go. I may come back. I enjoy your moist breads. Now I know where I am. Alright. Right. The rest of this little trip is just a mirror image of the earlier trip, so I'm going to leave it at that and make my way home. I have a nice cup of tea and maybe do some work. This is my life now. As always with Grumpy Coffee, or as it has been for the last two Grumpy Coffees, drop me an old comment with somewhere to go that has a nice coffee, or that you enjoy going to, or that has a good view, or that just tell me why it's good. Tell me why I should go to it, and I will get to them in the order in which they come in, or if only one of them comes in, I'll go to that one. And around this time of year, I generally kind of say, like, you know, watch the roads for ice and all the usual this time of year things. But like, yeah, I guess wait a month or two and watch the roads for ice. I guess that's all out the window. Anyway, best of luck. Talk to you all soon. Good luck.